I'm doing all of my processing for the tour inside the desk. I'm not using waves, I'm not using anything other than the outboard gear that you guys see down there below. So I'm using this entire system more as a mastering thing. I know what I have coming out of the desk is really good, but you know, all the digital desks nowadays are awesome, but it's really hard to beat the analog. I wanted to make the best live mastering setup that I could possibly get. Hi, my name is Kyle Gerhart. I'm the front of house engineer for the rock band Creed. We're here in San Antonio, Texas at the Frost Bank Center. Looking forward to a good show tonight. So on this tour, I've got a Shelford Channel on Scott's main vocal. It's all but negligent not to use it on a lead vocal while mixing live sound at this point. I really don't want to do shows without it anymore. We've got the RNDIs on stage. We've got 4 of them. They've been great. There's a tonal thing that happens there harmonically it's not measurable, but you can hear the difference with the RNDI versus any other active DIs that we've tried. I find that I get more depth and I don't have to EQ the guitars as hard as I did. It seems to be a truer representation of the instrument. On the front end of my rig, I've got the MBT. I'm using that for a little bit of saturation. This is my second tour using it. My first tour, I had an act that had all Kemper guitars, digital guitars, and they didn't have a lot of life to them. So on that tour, I used the MBT on my guitar bus, and I was actually using it to add the Super Silk to build some harmonics, give it a little bit of an analog feel to the digital guitars. And I had a lot of other engineers come up and compliment me. They're trying to figure out, like, what are you doing to them to make them sound better? And the MBT was, very clutch to make that happen. So the color comp has been great. When I was using the MBT on my guitar bus, it really helped in my top end, the guitars to smooth them out, have a nice sheen. I've got it set 2-to-1. The high pass is all the way off. My blend is all the way up. And it's just tickling it. The light barely turns on. And if I bypass it, you hear it. It's nice to be able to just use your ears and pop it in, pop it out, and use it till it sounds good. So on the Super Soak, I'm about 50% up on the blue and a little bit less than that on the red. And for the Zener drive, I find when I take that out, I lose a little something in the top end of my snare drum. Into that, I've got the Master Bus processor. That's my desert island piece of hardware. Like, if I can only have one analog unit to travel with, that's the one that I pretty much take everywhere. That's kind of my glue of my system. So it's a slow attack, slow release, and I'm using the stereo width on it. It gives me the ability to control the space of my overall mix. And with this particular band, it's a straight up rock band. There's no tracks, everything is live. So in terms of anything stereo width wise, I don't have any tracks or synths that I can play with. So I do a lot with the panning of the guitars and different macros that I have set up to create space where there's not space. I use this TC unit to monitor my stereo width, and the combination of being able to hear it and use the SFE on the Portico, and then just watching my metering to make sure that I'm not screwing my mono feed, because when we're filling delay fills and all that, it's a really powerful tool to make the mix sound bigger and more full without it being louder. One of the things for me, I like my hearing. I want to try to keep it as long as I can. So my show sits around 100, 101 A-weighted at front of house. C-weighted, we're a little heavy. We're probably 118 C-weighted. But having the stereo width control makes it a big band sound even bigger. And then at the very end, goes into the Master Bus converter. Once I put that at the end of the chain, I listened to it once and I didn't even think to go anywhere else. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, and it sounded the way I wanted it to sound out of the get-go. The Master Bus converter was one of those things when I saw it, when it came out, it solved an issue that I wanted to fix. I wanted my entire mastering chain to be one AES insert. I've been known as a Midas guy for a long time, but I do have artists that I tour with Digico as well. And when I switch over to the Digico platform, now I can take my entire rack and I can have the same analog sound because of the consistency of the AES, desk to desk to desk, and add that extra 1% that the Rupert Neve products give us. Going through all 3 units, I have basically a mastering chain that I use for live. I don't really want to tour without it at this point.